This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and Three Counts.
Cover! We got a cover world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and Three Counts is the podcast leading to the real deal, baby!
Knockouts and Three Counts starts now.
What up, no? This is another Tuesday. This is Knockouts and Three Counts, and I didn't go postal in this motherfucker, so it's a good day. But along with that being said, it's a good day because we got a lot to talk about. As you guys know, we are one of the sponsors of Flophouse Fuck No Fucks Given, August 4th. If you're coming into the Detroit area, you gotta come fuck with us and fuck with Flophouse. So, with a long awaited time, we've been talking about doing this one for quite a while. We've got the debut of one of the baddest motherfuckers in the deathmatch game right now, Hoodfoot himself. Hoodfoot Mo Atlas, how the fuck you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. How y'all doing, man? I'm living, bro.
I hear that, dude.
I know that feeling, man.
One of the most infamous deathmatch wrestlers, right? I mean, whenever you talk deathmatch, whenever you talk independent wrestling, you always hear the name Hoodfoot, and it's one of the most revered, one of the most feared names around the area, if you ask me.
Yeah, hey, look, it's honestly it's blessings, man. Like to have people just randomly just come up like, yo, I think you dope. And this, that, and other, like to see my name just randomly thrown up with like so many of the greats. I'm like, yo, I'm humble. That's it.
Okay, so before we get into Flophouse, before we get into what you're doing with ICW and all those things, Devin, here you're finally gonna get your wish, because every time I go to a show and you're on it, he's like, man, I don't know why, but I get such a kick out of his name. I want to know how the fuck he got the name Hoodfoot. So before we go anywhere, I want to know the real fucking story to how you got the name Hoodfoot and how has it stuck this long.
It sounds like you mixed some Native American name and some hood name together. That's what I always got.
So actually, what happened, man? Like, I just left my original trainer, and I started traveling with Shorty and Randy. And they're like, well, you need, like, you, because at the time I was just going by Maurice Atlas. They're like, you need something catchy. Mm-hmm. And I was like, at the time, the gimmick I had was I was going to do a debt collector, but I wanted to be like Big Worm. Right?
Big Perm, Big Worm.
Yeah. So I'm like, we shooting around like names. Like at one point it was like Ghetto Yeti, some shit like that.
Ghetto Yeti.
And like it finally hit like Hoodfoot, right? And like it tried it out that weekend, and by the end of that weekend, everybody was like, we was all in the car talking about Hoodfoot. So I was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is the move. And from that point on, it's been a ride, man.
See, at least your nickname was a good one, because the nickname that I got from boxing was because I got caught stealing liquor. And then the first time I ever fought, they called me out to the ring, not by my name, but I get called out as whiskey. I'm like, wow, this is fucking some bullshit. I still have focus mitts to this day that those motherfuckers wrote that on the top of that shit.
Hey, look, look, you know, that's still hard though. That's still hard.
Yeah, I got caught stealing my dad's liquor. I got caught. Hey, my dad used to work for Mohawk Liquor, so I've always had like a stash like this of just all kinds of different liquors. And we were going to go out with some girls, and I thought, well, let me get some alcohol. But wouldn't you think my dumbass wasn't smart enough to fucking dispose of the evidence? And then it all came down in a great storm because I got kicked out of a doubleheader that day for punking out somebody in between a doubleheader. So, yeah, it was a great day when I got home.
Hey, look, man.
Works in the movies.
Look, you just thinking ahead.
Hey, bro, you know, I try to be a forward thinker, but sometimes it just didn't think forward enough.
Hey, hindsight's 20/20, right?
Yeah, no shit. But talking about forward thinking, man, I mean, apparently, I don't even know if you realized it at the time, but man, that is one of the most catchy names I feel like in wrestling right now is Hoodfoot, man. It really does. It's taken on like its own character. It seems like whenever I do, because I cover more the MMA side of the show here. So whenever I do make my way out to the wrestling events and stuff, I literally hear your name every single time from somebody. So it seems like that name has genuinely taken on a character of its own, man. I don't know if you realize how much of a growth that that catchphrase, like
so
that name.
I'll be real, man. I low key just try to stay as humble as I possibly can, and I kind of stay in my own ecosystem a little bit. So I don't necessarily. I know where I'm at. Like realistically, I know where I'm at. But also, like I don't necessarily hear a lot of it outside. So to hear people mention it, or like I've had random people come up to me and go, "Man, I was talking to my cousin and he brought you up, blase blase," or like I've had coworkers or former coworkers say, "Oh, my son, like love to meet you. He's a big fan of you." And I'm like, yo, but I'm at the gig right now. Calm down. So
no, but that's how you know you're making an impact.
Yeah. But at the same time, man, I'm like, man, I just like to stay in my own ecosystem, bro. Like real talk, all that, like, if we being real, all the fucking glitz and glamour is cool, but if you let it go to your head, you just become a mark on the, you just become a target and a mark on the hood in the hood. Simple as that.
You just gotta use it as what's the word I'm looking for? Something to build off of. I can't think of it.
Let that be your starting point.
I build off of it in the business, but out here where I live, man, I try not to bring too much attention to myself.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Inspiration was the word I was looking for, by the way. It took me a second, but use it as an inspiration. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
And I feel like that works so much more for him too in the wrestling game, because like you don't see him talking a lot. You see him hitting motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Anytime you hear the name Hoodfoot, it is enshrined with the big names. Tremont, Tommy Vendetta, Dread King. Like you hear Hoodfoot and you're like, oh shit, you know that's gonna be physical, you know it's gonna be wild, bloody. You know you're getting a damn good show when you see Hoodfoot on the card.
And that's why I wanted to keep it as, man. I don't want my name to be popped up in fucking dirt sheets about bullshit. Excuse my French.
No, you can say whatever you need, or you're good.
It is.
Yeah. No, but let the work speak for itself, and that's what I feel like when I do. That's what I should have kind of preferenced that with. Is I feel like that's when I hear it is about the work that's being put in, and really the rise that I feel like you've been on too. You know, from an outsider's perspective, I feel like you've been on such a trajectory as of the last.
I mean, Corey, that leads right into what I wanted to ask him about. You know, I was there the night that you had that gnarly ass injury that cut you open and had to deal with all that. And then I was there at the circus when you showed up in hospital fucking scrubs and shit straight from the hospital. So obviously I have to ask about this question first. Tell me a little bit about what happened with the injury. How did it happen? And how are you feeling now that you're back to 100% again, man? Because that was pretty fucking gnarly.
Man, what happened was it's just something, it didn't go right. Like the thought process at the time was like, hey man, this is it. This is gonna be dope as shit. They're gonna love it. And then as it was happening, I went, oh man, this is going sideways. And I didn't think it was that bad at the time. The ref, he's like, hey man, like I gotta call it. I'm like, nah, bro, don't call it. I'm good. Keep it going. And then like he's just like, yo, Hood, you need to look at your arm. And I lift my arm up, and then I see a flap just fall down. And I go, oh yeah, that's bad.
So, we were there, man. Look, I remember the crowd was gasped for air at that point, because we once you left the ring, we knew, okay, that didn't go right. Something happened there. It left it was almost like a hole in the crowd for the rest of the show, man.
And like that's something I never wanted to do. Like, man, I'm more disappointed that I fucked up a show for fans, because like I can't tell you how many times I've heard people were just like, man, after that match, like I couldn't get back into the show. That pisses me off more than me getting hurt. Y'all spend hard-earned money to come out to be entertained and to enjoy it. And for y'all to go, oh man, I just couldn't get back into the show. It fucks me up. But
I mean, that's a way to look at it, though. But here's another way you should look at it, man. Just from a fan's point of view, the fans care about you. You know what I mean, personally, because of what
True.
you've done so far. So the fact that people genuinely cared for that situation, and not to mention the next day at the deathmatch circus, it was literally a standing ovation for you as you're showing up in a hospital freaking garb. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
What up?
it was, it was something. It was big, almost. It was bigger than wrestling, right? That just shows you that
yeah.
us as fans, we care.
Like, yo, I'm real with you. The standing ovation, the love I got, the love I received, man, it was insane. Like, I'm pretty sure I know a lot of people probably didn't think I was gonna make it just 24 hours after and be at the circus 24 hours after.
Bro, in
Probably
hospital
less than
scrubs,
24
dog.
hours. Yeah. But
In hospital
I'm a tough
scrubs.
motherfucker, man.
Yeah, I
I'm a
mean, so
tough
you didn't
motherfucker.
have a shirt, right? Was that? I remember them saying you had hospital scrubs on. You didn't have a shirt to put on. They actually gave you a shirt when you got there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's fucking
Because they
awesome.
cut the shirt off.
Some G shit, bro. Round of applause for you because that's some G shit.
Like that was a wild time, man. I loved it. Well, besides the other dude getting stabbed.
Talk me through the process real quick. What all was the recovery and what all they had to do to get that flat back together?
So it was 44 staples, 22 stitches.
Ooh.
I had a discharge tube put in my arm that would so basically as your body's healing, it creates fluid.
Mm-hmm.
And on small scale stuff, that your body's able to get rid of that fluid. Well, on something like this, on like something like that arm, it creates too much fluid where your body has to expel it. So they had a tube where it was expelling all the fluid and stuff like that. And man, it's just keeping it clean, keeping it straight, making sure I had to sleep kind of basically still. Like I had to sleep still as fuck. I couldn't move, I couldn't roll over to my arm, things like that, man. It was a tough process. Getting back in the gym, it was just basically light weights. I had to start basically back at the low end, the shallow end of the pool, and then work my way back up. It was a process, man. That was the one part where I hated it because it felt like I was working on an uneven plane.
Yeah, did the arm atrophy and stuff due to the injury?
No, not really, because if it was more severe, it probably would have, because my arm wouldn't have been less active. For
Right.
I think it was maybe just a month, my arm was inactive.
Okay.
And honestly, I'll be lying to you if I said I wasn't like actually moving my arm and whatnot the whole time.
Well, yeah, you got to test the limits, make sure you still got it a little bit,
Yeah.
I feel it. That's like when I put the hole in the cast. Remember, we were seniors in high school. I had to learn how to walk again, and I walked on that bitch so much I put a hole through the bottom of it.
Yeah. Like, man, it's like I probably should have let it sit still for a little bit longer. But man, I'm impatient. I was ready to get shit going. Like I probably should have went straight home after the hospital. But I was like, nah, man. I'm here to rock out. I'm here to rock and roll. Let's go.
I'm already out here. Got to show face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm already in Michigan. Shit.
I hear you, bro. Well, with that being said, this is a question that we've talked to a few people about. We talked about it with Masada and a couple other people. Like, I've seen you wrestle both deathmatch stuff and non-deathmatch stuff and all that. What is it that makes deathmatch, the move for you? Because I've seen you do both, and obviously you do great with both, having won the American Deathmatch Championship and all that stuff. Tell me, what is it that made you say, death matches are my way of going?
Man, I love deathmatch wrestling because of the story you get to tell, and what is a little bit it's a little bit more involved storytelling. You have to actually think and plot and plan out more of your story to be able to get over to the crowd, right? To be able to get the crowd into the story, you have to understand what's going on. So you have to actually build on what you're doing. You have to actually have to kind of understand a little bit more about your crowd and how to be able to translate your story to them, right? As opposed to wrestling, a lot of people rudimentary level of wrestling, understanding of wrestling, can kind of follow a wrestling story, right? But when you get to deathmatch wrestling and you're using weapons, they don't understand. The common theme of wrestling is they're using wrestlers because now the emotions are at a fever pitch. When in deathmatch wrestling, that's just part of the landscape, right? And so it takes them a little bit more time to understand what story is being told.
That makes sense because the weapons become a big part of the story of the match. Where in a regular match you don't have all that. At least I totally can see what you're saying as far as And speaking of which, we were out there in L.A. For Circle 6 crosses and caskets as well. When you and our homie from here in Detroit, Malcolm Monroe, were doing their thing. So I love the fact that even in deathmatch stuff, I've seen you do everything from fighting people like Randy. I've seen you fight Malcolm, I've seen you do all these things, and the way that you're able to keep it like the Hoodfoot brand of what you're seeing, regardless the opponent, I agree with you. I think that's part of what sets you apart. Well,
Man,
go ahead.
I was gonna say too, with the deathmatch stuff, you talk about the weapons and stuff because of course they have their own, I guess, spot. But really, I feel like the big thing is with deathmatch wrestling, from what I've seen, yet again from an outsider's perspective, is you guys do a great job of figuring out those moments of like when's the right time. There's been this pane of glass that's been laid up against the ropes for the whole match now, but when's the right time to get the crowd? Like you guys do a great job of picking those moments in there. And I feel like that's what, like how you're referring to the storytelling. I feel like that's also a big aspect of it, is picking those right moments to do the big bang, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. You're not lying. It's being able to understand the flow of your match better, right? It's being able to understand when and where to put something to get the utmost reaction out of the crowd.
Now, how does it work when the fans bring the weapons? We've seen the fans bring weapons to these matches. I mean,
Donald's already looking for T12 tubes and shit for SummerSlam weekend. So
I mean, one question being, what's the craziest weapon you've ever used in one of these matches? And two, how do you implement that mentally into your game?
It was a gusset popper bat, and it got used against me, and it was probably the worst thing I've ever had happen. And I was like, "Yeah, bro, don't ever bring that again. Don't bring that shit again."
So you're a perfect person to ask you about this too. Why is it that whether it's deathmatch wrestling, regular wrestling, swear to God, 9 times out of 10, the motherfucker that sets up the table, sets up the glass, I'm like, damn, you keep setting yourself up for failure. What the fuck?
Man, sometimes it's the luck of the draw. Honestly, karma's a bitch. He who sets it, look, he who dealt it, he who smelt it dealt it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
karma's a motherfucker, man.
You gotta love it, bro.
That's true.
Well, with that being said, bro, let's talk about what some of you got coming, some of what you've got coming SummerSlam weekend. But before we get into those, shout out to our sponsors, Potter's Tree Service. All the links are in the bio. If you need wood chipping, if you need storm cleanup, you need anything to do with cutting down trees, don't go looking for an axe. Just call Asa, call Potter's Tree Service, tell them Knockouts at 3 Count sent you, and you'll be chomping down the competition. With that being said, you had a big win for the American Deathmatch Championship. Tell me a little bit about that match. What does it mean to you to have that belt? And who would you like to see on the other side of the ring for you from them things?
Man, first and foremost, having this title, bro, it means the absolute world to me. Long story short, it's no secret. There's not a lot of niggas in deathmatch wrestling. Like there's not a lot of us. So to be one of the guys to be at the top of deathmatch wrestling and to also hold a top title, a top world title, right? And to be able to say, hey, there's people that look like us that can achieve greatness here in this subculture. it means the world to me, right? And more importantly, to be able to represent deathmatch wrestling at such a high level is insane. It's something I didn't think I was ever going to be able to do.
Yeah.
So, like having it, man, it means the absolute world.
That's dope, man. Like, and that's the thing. Like you said, you don't see a lot of black guys in fucking deathmatch wrestling, and I can definitely, like Corey was already alluding to, man. Like the way that you've been able to not only spread your name just around, you know, like we've said here with Detroit and all that stuff, but we've seen you with Circle 6. You know, we've seen you with GCW. We've seen you pretty much any and everywhere that you could really be going to do that. Speaking of ICW and the chains, though, bro. Tell me how you're feeling about facing Low Life Louie over here at ICW, bro. Shout out to Danny DeMonte.
Yo, it's about to be a wild fucking match. It's about to be bloody. It's about to be wild, man. I don't know. We about to break out the fucking IC, the Four Locos, all this shit. Look, it's gonna be insane. Mother's gonna break out some salt. We're gonna break out the salt, the Four Locos. Give me some alcohol. We breaking that out. It's gonna be a party, man.
Four Locos, anytime those are involved, just tells you that things are gonna get crazy.
That's
just
trouble,
ask our guys,
usual.
Studio 86. You know, they always got a Four Loco after their matches, so they're better men than me. I can't fuck with the Four Locos no more. Them things
not
about
me,
to kill
man.
you.
I retired from the Four Loco game.
I fucking love it, dude. Well, dude, tell me a little bit. You know, I'm not gonna lie. So RPW and ICW, I really got turned on to them during the pandemic. I had never really seen a lot of their stuff. I heard about the Pit because, as we mentioned, you know, we cover combat sports and all that stuff too. So I thought that was really cool. And then when I saw that they were doing the chains and all that stuff, tell me your thoughts on working with ICW and what is it that you feel like makes ICW so different?
Man, first and foremost, like I don't know if you guys even know, but I first got my shot at ICW at the circus the year before last year, right? That was my first match. It was in the Pit with Tank. So the Pit holds a very special place to me, man. I love it. ICW itself, there's a lot of different death matches. There's a lot of different companies that cater to deathmatch wrestling, right? But there's no company in the U.S. that caters strictly to deathmatch wrestling, right? You can have your sweet matches, you know what I'm saying, but there's no match that is strictly all deathmatch wrestling. There's no show that's strictly all deathmatch wrestling, right? That's something that ICW caters to and excels in, right? I personally think that ICW has some of the best deathmatch wrestling in the world, bar none.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
When you got guys on your roster like Brandon Kirk, you got guys on your roster like fucking the Bev, you got fucking Casey Kirk, you got fucking you got Lufisto coming back doing crazy shit, right?
That's
Mickey
wild.
Knuckles, fucking, you got Cruel just being fucking goddamn Jason X. Dog, this roster is a roster.
Don't forget the homie Tommy Vendetta, bro. Come on now. You already know.
Fucking pillars. You got the pillars, Tommy and Malcolm. Yep. This roster is the roster of fucking hitters, and I can say that shit fucking with my whole heart, all 10 toes down on that. This roster is a roster of fucking hitters, period.
I love it, dude, because I feel like the chains bring a whole nother element to it. And again, like I said, the Pit getting to be there. I mean, shit, the last time we were there at the Pit, you know, so here's a funny story. So I took a girl to that show that they had over there, same spot we did the circus. And the first wrestling show she ever been to. And then that was when D-Mac pulled out the fucking hockey stick with the explosives and shit on it. No ropes, no nothing. And then right before that, you had Malcolm and Neil Diamond Cutter, bro. She's watching like, damn, this is fucking crazy. I was like, you haven't even made it to the end yet.
Malcolm with the Euro step air raid crash.
Yes.
Malcolm pulled out the Euro step air raid crash. This shit was crazy.
Speaking of Malcolm, man, tell me about that. I know you guys got quite the relationship. I got to see you guys square off at crosses and caskets for Circle 6.
Yeah.
I mean, every time you guys get in there, bro, you guys are going at it.
Bro, man, I'm Malcolm a little bit. Little known fact, I know Malcolm probably since I started wrestling because he used to come down to Indianapolis quite a bit. And like I said, I've started training with Randy and Shorts have known Malcolm since basically the start of their career. You know, his dad DBA is an institution in fucking Detroit.
Facts.
There won't be no Detroit independent wrestling without fucking DBA. First and foremost, right? So, like Malcolm used to always come down to Indianapolis, right? And at the time, I'm green as shit. And the crazy shit is, I'm older than Malcolm, but I'm green as shit. So like, he's telling me shit, and I'm like, man, this is a little ass kid telling me like some of the best goddamn wrestling advice I've ever had, right? And then, like coming through that, you start developing a friendship with him, and you start understanding like, oh shit, cool, like cool peoples. Then when me and Malcolm step in the ring together, we're still friends, but we understand that we about to go out here and fucking try to take this fucking show. Simple as that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. To bring it back to my MMA side, you'll see fighters sometimes they'll go in there, shake hands, but they're going in there going for that performance bonus. You know,
Exactly.
they're both going for the fight of the night. If we got to go for it, we got to go for it. So we might as well make the best of it. You know.
Hey, look, we could be friends, but all that other shit, like, bro, I'd be damned if my friendship fucks up my performance.
I mean, look, we've talked about this. Like you said, we cover the fight game as well, man. And you know, I've seen teammates fight each other. I mean, like I said, I've been in some pretty hairy situations where I've competed against my own teammates. It's one of them things, man. When you dude. I mean, when you step on the mat, it's either you or me. And even if I end up losing, you ain't gonna just walk through me. So that's a whole.
Man, I used to do folk style wrestling, man. And
shit! Tell me about that.
So, man, I used to do folk style wrestling, and at the end of the week, like, but right before the meets, you have your tournaments. Like, you have your locker room tournament to see who started, right? And like, you're my man's, but I'm not giving my spot up. Simple as that. I'm not. Look, I'd be damn. I'm not fucking wrestling this weekend. I put in all this work. You gonna challenge for my fucking spot? I bet. We boys, we cool, but I'm not giving up my spot.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Like, I used to love King of the Mountain when we used to do King of the Mountain back in the day, right? Because
I remember that.
Even though we
Shark
was all
Tank.
having fun, it was still competitive. It's like, hey, look, I'm not coming off this perch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Donald's got a good question for you since we already brought them up a little bit earlier. He said, how important is Randy and Schwartzy in your career and life? It seems like they're a major part of your flow.
Oh yeah, 100%. So Schwartz and Randy legitimately, they invited me in their car. Like after a match I had with Schwartz, and I had a tag team match with Randy, they were like, "Hey, we like your thought process. We like what you do. Like, we want to help show you that there's more to wrestling outside of this Indianapolis school." And man, they've fucking been like instrumental in how I think about wrestling, how I build myself about wrestling. Like, everything that I do has a root back to Schwartz and Randy. See what I'm saying? So without them, I don't think there would be a Hoodfoot.
Hey man, that's as good a stamp of approval as you can give. You know, I mean, we were just talking about the name. He just said without them, there is no Hoodfoot. So I definitely can respect that and understand that as well. Well, I got to ask. So we know ICW is coming here to Detroit along with Flophouse, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. What the hell are you doing at ICW when it comes here to the D?
Man, when y'all get the announcement, y'all gonna go crazy.
Come on, man. Danny knows we got love, bro.
I can't let it go, but like, I would just let you know, once you get the announcement, y'all gonna go fucking ape shit. Simple as that.
Got to keep it close to the chest.
Hey, look, I'm gonna keep it real. It ties into everything we talked about today.
I love it, dude. Like I said, we're about to be making the round. Shout out to Chicago Rob. He was just calling me yesterday saying he's coming down here for Detroit as well. So
shout out to Chicago Rob. This is my guy, man. I can't tell you how many times. So 2 WrestleMania weekends in a row, I ran into Chicago Rob on a fucking plane going fly down. Last year to LA. Well, this year to LA. Last year to Dallas.
nice.
Yeah.
He's the homie, bro. He's on his way out here for SummerSlam as well. Also, shout out to Mega Ran out there on the road. He was out there with me in LA as well.
Yeah, Mega Ran. Big shout out to Mega Ran. Hey, big shout out to Mega Ran for being the voice of Crossing the Caskets, man. The first all-black deathmatch wrestling show. If you ain't seen it, go watch it. The shit is dope. Message Circle 6 about it. Let them know that you want to watch it. Let them know you want to get your eyeballs on it. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. Shout out to Mike from Circle 6. It was good to run into you down there in Chicago as well. Well, we've already covered most of it, and you say that you've got this great match that we're going to see come the announcement from ICW. Do you have, it could be a regular match or it could be a death match. Do you got anybody who's like a dream opponent or somebody that you want to kind of knock off the list? Oh, I love that matchup.
Bro. Yes. Eddie Kingston's my if you can ask anybody. There was 2 matches I've always wanted to have. And luckily I was been able to have one of them like 3 times over. One was Matt Tremont, and the other was Eddie Kingston. They're 2 guys who literally, without them, I don't think I would be being a fan watching them. I saw more of myself in them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they represented who I was, not just being just 2 big dudes, but just their mentality and what they brought to wrestling. Yeah. And so I've wrestled Matt 3 times. I've loved wrestling Matt each time, right? But I want that Kingston match. I'm going down his heel.
That's what we're talking about. Got to put that shit out into the ether, bro. I'm with it, And you speak about Matt Tremont for all of you guys who are watching this. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, you might want to, because Tremont might just be up in one of those boxes soon. But with that being said, we talked about, dream matches. We talked about all those other things. It leads me to one of my other questions. What was it that originally hooked you with wrestling, bro? What was it that was what you started with?
Man, I started, wrestling. I started my love of favorite wrestling started with fucking Saturday Night Shotgun, bro. Watching
Shotgun Saturday Night,
bro. Watching Godfather come out, bro. Fucking wrestling like D'Lo Brown and shit. S.A. Rios, all that shit, bro. I didn't have cable growing up, so that was my wrestling.
Hell yeah, dude. I got a D'Lo Brown story for you when we get off here from LA.
Hey, shout out to Cheetahs out. Shout out to Cheetahs, man. Fucking out in Vegas. That's what Godfather manages, bro. Fuck yeah. I've been in there a couple times. Like, I ain't never tried to fucking knock on his door and shit. I've just been enjoying it. He runs a great establishment.
He runs a great establishment. Shout out to the Godfather. We just saw him a couple weeks ago when we interviewed Rob Van Dam over at Astronomicon. Fucking shout out to Donald with the good questions. Hoodfoot versus Vendetta in Chicago was my favorite death match of last year. How special was it to win in Chicago and share a beer with your pops?
Wow, man, that was it was definitely fucking insane, man. Like my dad, he actually had 2 different heart surgeries, like the year before. Him being there, being able to watch me, it was great. Like, I will say, he did say after the show, I didn't think it was gonna be like that.
Boy,
how did he take the blood, bro?
You said you were going in there to wrestle, and all of a sudden,
I know, that's why I'm saying, how did he take it once it was over with? Was he all right with it, or was like that's a little hard to get into?
He's like, man, if it wasn't you, I don't know if I would have been able to get into it that much. But man, it was a blessing, man. And Vendetta, bro, that match in Vendetta still holds up. I've wrestled Vendetta twice now. And bro, each time we wrestle, it's been fucking dope.
I agree. I concur. I agree 100%. Well, now that we've go ahead. My bad. Yeah. So now that we've talked about all that stuff, bro, we got to ask you this. So we've talked MMA. We talk how Corey's the MMA guy and all this bullshit. Does Hoodfoot get down into combat sports? Do you like to see somebody throwing hands outside the wrestling ring?
Bro, yes and no, man. I don't have cable no more, so I don't watch. I don't stay up to date with as much combat sports as I used to. But man, I used to be in it. I used to fucking watch. I used to watch shit every day, like fucking the Ultimate Fighter. Fucking, I watched fucking Friday night on fucking Spike TV back in the day, where it was Spike TV. Shit,
yes,
bro,
sir.
I was in it, bro. Like the last fight I saw, was fucking. Let me see. What's his name? Fucking goddamn the ninja, the black ninja, the anime nigga.
Anderson Silva.
No, fucking Ish.
Israel Adesanya.
Yeah, there it is, Israel.
Oh yeah,
like that was the last fight. That's the last fight I actually saw.
Well, I'm going to just recommend to you that in a couple weeks, like we just had probably one of the best fight cards of the year last week for International Fight Week, but they got Poirier and Gaethje are about to fight each other again. That's about as good. That's about as good as you can get. And you got Errol Spence and fucking Crawford on the same night. So bro, MMA and boxing are going to be winning.
Bro, I've been trying to get into like that new ESPN Pro Fighting League.
Yeah,
I've been trying to watch that and catch up on that because it looks like it's gonna be real interesting, man. I think they just signed Alistair Overeem.
Oh, they've signed a bunch at this point. They brought over Overeem, Pettis. Yeah, they got Ngannou now.
Pettis? Oh, bro, like I don't know.
They got Werdum.
Yeah, I don't know who bankrolling it, but
think about what happened with Ngannou, dude. He got signed to a deal to where he's going to get a minimum of $3 million a fight. Anybody that fights him is guaranteed $2 million. I mean, dude, that guy's got him by the balls, and he just signed to box Tyson Fury.
Yeah, I'm gonna fight the nigga. I don't give a
fuck, bro. I met him here in Detroit, and that guy's fist is bigger than my head.
Bro, I'll take that shot for $2 million.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Look, I've been hit by worse shit.
Donald said he thought he was going to get the works from your pops at the show because he was cheering for Tommy.
Donald did tell me that. He said that he was over there by him, and he was cheering. And my dad gave him a shot. My look like, yo, what?
Dude, that's fucking awesome, dude. Well, before we get out of here, like I said, we are the proud sponsors of No Fucks Given. You know, we've seen the match that you've got going down. You're going to be going against our homies from Midwest Scum, the Dread King Logan, and Zachary Smith, alongside Casanova Valentine. So tell me how you're feeling about No Fucks Given and what we can expect from that match,
bro. First and foremost, No Fucks Given. It's probably the biggest show we've ran to date. It's probably gonna be one of the craziest shows that you're gonna be able to see that weekend, right? It's not only is it in the hometown of Schwartzy and Randy, right? But it's in it's SummerSlam weekend, right? Got the craziest shit happening. It's at probably one of the craziest bars I've ever fucking seen before. You know what I'm saying? You got Darren McCarty playing fucking in a band. Bro, what the fuck? Like, yo, you got Darren McCarty playing at the Old Miami, like 15 minutes away from fucking goddamn Ford Field. Yeah. Bro, tell me this ain't the wildest time I've ever been in.
Hey, if that ain't I mean, come on.
Bro. Like it's such a wild statement to make. But at the end of the day, we got something that's special. We got something like the vibe that is at Flophouse Wrestling. The people that are gonna actually see it and understand we're different than most professional wrestling companies, right? It's a party. We encourage you to party. You know, there's times where we've played like, man, There's been times where I played fucking goddamn flip cup, played fucking beer pong, right? We've had cookouts during the show.
Have you ever played Gaucho Ball? Is the question.
No, I haven't. I haven't. Well, look,
Shout out to Kelly and Kevin, man. Faster Horses was where I learned about it. And let me tell you, if you get stuck on the corner of the table or in the middle of the table, and you happen to be the one that they keep getting the cups back to, dude, it's not a good time.
I'm down to play it, man.
All right, Gaucho Ball with Hoodfoot at Flophouse. That's what we're talking about.
Do it. Let's do it. Bring the setup. Bring the setup. We'll get it.
Fuck yeah, dude.
We encourage people to come to Flophouse Wrestling and hang out with us. Bring your cornhole. Bring your cornhole setup. Bring your fucking bring your beer pong setup. We're down for it. It is a party promotion at the end of the day. It's what we do.
Hell yeah, Knockouts and 3 Counts is ready to party with SummerSlam, dude. Well,
Yes,
we've got as good a question as any to lead this out with. It's a segment on the show that people have liked because we get the most wild answers. We call it locker room etiquette, but no, that's not trying to go behind the curtain or anything. Our version of locker room etiquette is the shit that either pisses you off in the locker room or an advice to a young guy. Now, let me fill you in on some of the entries we've gotten so far. Now, we've gotten wash your balls, keep your baby mama out the locker room. Josh Briggs from NXT told us bring your own wrist tape, bring your own squirt bottle. Silas Young said don't get too comfortable. Ninja Mac told us keep being in the gym and don't think you're too good for it. If Hoodfoot had any of them that either annoys you or anything you'd say to somebody coming into the locker room, what would it be?
Man, just be humble. Just like literally, like it doesn't matter how far up you go, right? Be humble, because I was told this a long time ago. The motherfuckers that you step on the way up that ladder will be the same motherfuckers you have to see when you're coming back down, right? Shake the hands. You know what I'm saying? Be respectful. Be humble to everybody in that room, right? Also, yo, keep your fucking baby mamas out the goddamn locker room, man. Like, dog, it is annoying. It is annoying. Get your girl out the fucking locker room.
I mean, you're not wrong. I could definitely see where that would cause a few.
Hey, let me bring this back a little bit. Get your significant other out the locker room. If they're not wrestling, get them out the locker room. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Simple and plain. I like it.
You might come back there and fuck around and find out. Well, if you're going to fuck around and find out, there's no fucks given at Flophouse August 4th. Knockouts and 3 Counts will be in the building. Hoodfoot will be in the building. Shout out to Schwartz. Shout out to Randy. Shout out to Donald for all the great questions and everybody else who's watching on YouTube.
D-Mac and Grinder.
Yes, sir.
They're about to set it off.
Yes. Yeah. Shout out to D-Mac. If you missed the show with D-Mac on Tuesday where he was talking about being the special enforcer at Slammiversary, and he's talking about how him and Tommy Dreamer are about to team up again at Impact coming up here, you missed a great show. So I'm just saying you should go back, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can go back and watch that interview, or you could just watch the KO3C Gaming and watch me make a fool out of myself playing video games. Either way, we've got you covered. We've got you entertained. And like Hoodfoot said, if you're in Detroit, I mean, there's really no better place for you to be on August 4th than Flophouse as fuck. I'm going to be there. We're going to be there. I'm with it. Make sure you check out Potter's Tree Service. And man, we're on good time today. So make sure you stay tuned. Like I said, Matt Tremont might be coming through this Thursday. We've got Bad Chad Decker before WXC on July 28th. Like I said, you never know who's going to be in that other box, so do what you need to do. Hit that button. Peace.
Peace.